Hi there, this is Roger Bumpus, the actor, not the real person. I'm the voice of Squidward Tentacles on SpongeBob SquarePants, and I'm saying you're listening to DJ Danny. Of course, I am too, but then I'm on DJ Danny, so I'm actually contributing to what you're listening to. So have a great day. Oh, I think I hurt myself.
Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, July 7th, 2020. Welcome to the DJ Danny Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR2. I'm your host, DJ Danny, and I'm so honored and thankful for my guest today. Joined in the studio with an amazing actor and entertainer that we all know from previous shows, so make sure you stay tuned because we're going to be mentioning some. His name is Michael KOSTROFF, and I'm just so thankful that you are here and you gave me your time today.
It's my pleasure.
So thank you so much for that. I am so happy.
Well, as I told you, we're all doing a lot of sitting around at home. Like, it's so nice to talk to someone.
Well, I'm always here, just so you know, for talking. No problem. You can never message me on Messenger. I'm always here. I'm always here for you, especially because I found out off air that you are a cat person. So that makes me like 100% love you more. So as an actor and everything. Off air as well, we were talking a little bit about Robert Torti. Now, Robert Torti, Michael, was on my show a few weeks prior, I believe maybe a month ago. And as you would know him from Disney Channel, he was Zach Martin's father. He played Kurt on Sweet Life, Zach and Cody.
Okay. I didn't watch all of the shows because remember, I'm old.
Okay, you're good. You're not.
But I know Bob Torti from LA. We've crossed paths many times.
Oh, Robert Torti. Okay, and I know he was also in, as my favorite was Technicolor Dreamcoat, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat with Donny Osmond. That was something that I talked about with him for hours. So that's
he's a good guy.
But he's an amazing actor as well as yourself. So I
was gonna have a really great singer. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
Well, you probably do, having interviewed him.
Yeah,
he's a great singer.
Yes, but he sang Pharaoh in Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. So that's why I was like, okay, yes, perfect. So I wanted to just say that, again, I'm so happy you are here. We're going to get a little bit started, though, where we're going to take you back some years, okay? You're going to tell us exactly when you felt like you were getting interested in acting. What age were you? What was your emotion? Oh, I told you.
Wow, you're going way back. I think as soon as I knew there was such a thing as acting, I was like, that's my thing. That's it. I have a really vivid memory. I was like a little kid in school, and they were doing Peter Pan as a school play, and I was on the stage crew. Oh. And I was in the wings working on pulling a curtain and watching the people on stage. I was like, that's where I want to be there. You know, I don't want to be here pulling a curtain. And I think it's sort of like, for me, it's like a calling. It's just exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I'm just lucky that I get to. You know,
and you started, at a young age back in the day and everything too, where you have so much on your profile now to where you are. So, I mean, we know you in so many shows. It's so nice to see your profile on IMDb, especially like grow, with everything that you've done.
Yeah, I've been very, very, very lucky in a profession where it's hard to get any work at all, and I consider myself very fortunate to be a working actor.
Well, I think it's so amazing of everything that you've done and what you still might have coming due after COVID. I mean, we hope you have a lot more coming up for you depending on the situation. But
yes, we don't.
Getting back to where you wanted to do acting, because you said you were in stage crew for Peter Pan. Then shortly after some of the performances you were saying to yourself you wanted to, then did you do anything to portray it that time? Or did it take longer when you were getting older?
It was a long time before I worked as a professional.
Okay.
I always wanted to be an actor, so I did every school play that I could do, and I took acting classes and summer camp, and like anything I could get into, I could get into, and and I would audition for plays and not get in them, and so I did what most actors do. I waited tables, I temped, I did all these jobs to pay my bills here in New York. And some of the jobs that I did get didn't pay any money, but I didn't care. I was excited to be on stage.
Because you got the exposure. You got the exposure from it, right? That was something.
Well, also, I just love what I do. I mean, it's also the experience of doing it. But it took me a long time to get rolling as a professional and get hired. I was sort of in my 30s before I really started working.
Okay.
So I was a late bloomer, but I've always loved what I do. So I think that's what gave me the patience to sort of wait.
That's amazing though that you pushed yourself to get to that point where
Yeah.
then after you felt like you learned so much from it, you're like, I'm going to try this. And, it pushed you further into what you were doing and being an entertainer for all of us to see.
I mean, it's a tough profession because, there's a lot of rejection and a lot of failure along the way. Yeah,
Of course.
I feel like you have to be in it for the long haul because God knows I didn't expect to be as successful as I have been. But I think the only thing that keeps you going is loving doing it,
Well, the attitude definitely contributes to, the way that you create yourself and your portion. But I think it also reflects on the attitude and the emotions, a big part of it. But I also think it reflects big on what you're trying to do as an actor or which place you're trying to audition for and which role. And then you give it your all, when you audition and everything. So I know your very first show, well, your very second show, I believe, on your profile was you were on General Hospital.
Yes.
Right? You played Francis. Now, as a lot of people would know, I know of the show because I used to watch a few episodes with my mother. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly who your character was. And me and my mom are going nuts. So we need to know exactly who was your character and, what was your role in the show.
This is so funny.
Take it away.
As I look back at my career, there are a lot of performances I'm proud of.
Okay.
And this was not one of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think about the worst acting I've ever done in front of a camera was General Hospital.
Nuh-uh.
So, do you remember that there was a psychic, Madam, I can't remember her name, but I was her assistant, Frances, and I was supposed to be on the show for many, many episodes.
Okay.
But I was only on it for one episode. I was awful.
Okay. So do you feel like maybe the way that you contributed the role, they didn't want to bring you back? Or did they did they make your character disappear?
I don't know. All I know is we never heard from Frances again, and I was relieved because I stunk. I was terrible. It's just part of the learning process. One of the things is that with soap operas, the camera is so close.
Yes.
That if you do anything big, and I was like overacting and all this stuff, it's way too much. It's way too much. I don't have any regrets. It's just a funny story to me. That's just funny that you should bring that up because I was like, oh, that was bad. I don't remember. Your mom would know. The psychic, Madam something. They brought her back. They just didn't bring Frances back.
I can see. Doc G, is Sandy out there? Does she know who the psychic is from General Hospital? We're putting her on the spot now.
Madam something, yeah.
Oh, she doesn't remember either. I don't know.
Well, anyway, that's the long and the short of Francis. He was never heard from again.
Well, then I remember that we definitely saw you. Well, I saw you in Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. I know you were in the courtroom.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think it was pretty exciting because you got to be in the same room with Jim Carrey. And he's such an extremely amazing actor. Yes. And I think the way that he portrays a role, just like yourself, is you guys put your all in it and your emotion and his reactions, his face reactions, right? Especially in Liar Liar. So, you being a part of that movie makes it 100% better because, you enjoy seeing it. A lot of people do. A lot of your fans know that you were in it as well. And you can also say you were with Jim Carrey, which is also a huge #1 star on your plate.
Yeah, he was great.
So when you got to audition for some of these movies and shows that you were doing, a lot of it I understand was rejection because, all actors get that. But where do you feel like down the line you kind of was, like you didn't take rejection to the heart anymore? You were like, okay, if this happens, I understand. And then you go for another role.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Really good question.
Thank you.
I think I figured out early on that it's not personal.
Okay.
I think of it this way: when they're auditioning, they're just shopping. They're shopping. It's like if you're shopping for a new shirt. you're not saying the other shirts are bad. You're just picking your favorite. So it doesn't feel like rejection. This has helped me get through this.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like rejection to me because I'm like, they just didn't pick me this time. That's okay. It doesn't mean I'm bad. It doesn't mean I suck. I just didn't get picked. And also, in our business, that's the norm. Almost all the time you don't get picked. That's what happens more often than not. And so if every time you don't get picked, you get really depressed and upset, you're going to have a hard time getting through this life, So I have learned to enjoy the audition part because I feel like whatever happens, I get to go in and do my thing that I like doing. I get to act. I get to play a scene, and if it goes somewhere from there, that's great. And if not, that's the norm. No harm, no foul. No judgment on me.
Do you feel like when you go to do some auditions, though, maybe ones that you really, really, really want, like versus some that maybe your manager or your coach gave you to audition for to get the exposure, the ones that you really, really want, you like really do the acting like not obnoxious, but over the top to the point where they're like, wow, blow them away practically.
No,
Have you ever done that?
I've learned not to do that. That always backfires.
Oh, it does? I mean,
always.
I mean, I've done a little bit of acting where it's just theater, fortunately, and everything, which is so much fun to be a part of. Like you said, being on stage is really fun, especially with a lot of castmates and people that are getting to know you and your character.
Yeah,
so
that is fun.
I think that's amazing, and it's also fun to be in movies as yourself or on TV.
I think I love theater. I try to do theater every chance I get when I'm between TV jobs because I that's sort of my favorite. I like being in front of a live audience.
Now, do you feel like, well, because of COVID, I understand, but do you ever try to do like Broadway? Like or off Broadway? Have you like auditioned for that stuff too on this side?
I have.
Okay.
I've done 3 tours of Broadway shows.
Ooh. What have you done?
They took the Broadway show and toured it around the country.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What show have you done?
Oh, I did The Producers.
Okay.
And I did Les Mis twice.
Oh,
once back in 2003, and then once in 2010.
Okay. Wow, that's.
It's a lot of fun. There's nothing like touring with a big musical. It's a thrilling experience.
I was gonna say it must be very musical, like very theatrical, and
Yes.
like everybody the singing and stuff, and then you just start singing your words to each other. That probably happens too. Who needs to talk anymore? Just sing it with the exposure and stuff. But no, that's exciting. I didn't know you did any off-Broadway stuff. See, you don't see that on your IMDb profile. This is something for yourself to show. So,
well, I had to leave something for you to discover during the interview,
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's super crazy though that from being an actor to even being in movies and everything that you've done, you love theater a lot, and I think that's pretty really exciting because you can bring that everywhere you go, into your auditions and to your characters, and sometimes you can make your character, on TV, the best character you can be because not saying you can go over the top, but you can be that character where you're portraying something that you love, and you don't have to fake it. You know how like a lot of actors do that.
Right.
You already have the role for it. So, out of everyone that you played in all the shows that you've done, what was your favorite show? Name top 3 shows that you've done. I didn't say movies. I said shows.
Say again?
Oh, I said I didn't say movies. I said shows. Like your favorite TV shows you were on.
I really love The Wire. The Wire is a great show. It's legendary, and I was really, really proud to be a part of that.
Okay.
And then I did a role on The Blacklist that lasted a bunch of episodes, and I liked that. He was a detective, but he wasn't like a tough detective. He was a detective who just really cared about justice, and that was nice.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that must have been a fun character to play.
It was really fun because usually when they have a detective, he's like tough and interviewing you. And then I think my third. It's so hard to pick your favorites, but I had one role that was so different for me because I usually play clean cut. I play a lot of lawyers and doctors, and and
lawyers.
they offered me this role that was so crazy. On a show called Banshee, which is a really dark show, I had like tattoos and scars and long hair. I was like an ex-con, and I was like smoking and drinking, and I got to have a big bar fight. And I was like, I don't even know how this happened to me because I don't play these parts usually.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful to do something so different for me.
That's
and I said to them, why did you pick me for this? They said, we don't know. We thought it'd be fun. I was like, this is amazing.
yeah, because you got to experiment out of your realm, from what you're
Oh,
always
yeah.
being portrayed out of. Now, other people
I had to shoot stunt fight, and I don't fight. It was fun. That was fun.
I love that. I think that's exciting when you get to experiment outside of your role, especially for
Yes.
other producers that look into what your resume was, because
Right.
they don't have to make you a lawyer anymore.
That's right.
Or a
That's right.
doctor, or what else you have played. So no, I think that's exciting. I mean, a lot of my generation, as of right now, we all know you from Sunny with a Chance, which was an
Yeah.
amazing TV show on Disney Channel with Demi
love
Lovato and Tiffany Thornton. And I think it was just so much fun because your character, Marshall Pike, would you say you were basically like I know you were in charge of them for school and you were in charge of them for skits? Like, what was your character based out of exactly?
He's the producer of the TV show. That was his job.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you were the producer of a TV show with fun skits that you got to be a part of and everything, and just wear a suit and tie. I remember you always wore a tie as your character and everything. So
Yeah.
dressed up and very professional, and awesome to talk to and get to know and everything. So with you being Marshall Pike and you enjoying your character and everything, and socializing with the guests, what exactly would you say you and Marshall Pike have in common?
Oh, that's interesting. That's a good question. He's kind of a nerd,
Okay.
and he would like bungle things a lot. That's kind of like me, and he was really trying really hard to make everybody happy. That's definitely me.
Okay.
But I just think his nervousness, trying to get everything right, that's definitely me.
I think I definitely understand with the nervousness, because I think I even remember a little bit in the show where there was like times where somebody had to get on stage for a skit or this and that, and it was like you're not here, like where are you, like
Right. It was very stressful. He was stressed all the time,
Well, I think
and
that's the kind of
they like to play tricks on me,
I love that.
It's kind of,
Oh, come on, tell me, do you ever watch any of the TV shows that you were in? Like, do you like to watch yourself, or do you get irked out? Some actors do, and I understand, but you being Marshall Pike, come on, that'd be so much fun to watch.
I've watched. Yes, I have watched those episodes. But it's
Okay.
hard to watch yourself
Why?
because I always go, well, what is my face doing? Why am I doing that? And, we analyze ourselves so much more. But I have to say, before Sunny with a Chance, I was best known for The Wire, and the guy I played on The Wire was really a bad, horrible, horrible human being, and very serious and very dark. So I was so excited that my next big project was something so light and so funny, because people didn't know that I did comedy at all. They thought I was like just a serious actor. And also, I love kids. I love them, love them, love them. So we had such a good time on that set. I loved all those guys. I just thought they were just great partners to work with, and all so talented.
Just to socialize and get to know them, yeah.
Say again? One more time?
Oh, I was going to say, just for you, socializing and like getting to know them, outside of their character is also something else your character can bring upon, because you're getting that bond, like a producer
Sure.
would on the show.
Also, I like their parents. I got to know some of the parents, and they were really great too. Very fun. It's interesting. Funny parents have funny children. So they were really funny people.
Wait, I'm trying to remember. I believe the first episode of Sunny with a Chance, was that with the suntan lotion?
I don't remember the
Okay.
order of the
Well, no,
episodes.
it was suntan lotion or something, where the mom kept putting the suntan lotion on Sunny. And I remember you were, you met her, you brought her to and everything. Yeah.
Yes, it was sunblock. Yeah,
Oh,
she was on sunblock.
yeah, and she was like, no more sunblock or whatever.
That's right.
And I was just like, yeah.
The one I remember the most that makes it's just, I had such a hard time filming it because I couldn't stop laughing at Demi.
Which one?
Was when she played her own fan.
Okay.
She wasn't getting any fan mail. The other people were getting fan mail. So she became her own fan, and she dressed up as this boy who had like his arm in a sling, and he was like really tough and really mean.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stop laughing. She made me laugh every damn time. It was hilarious.
It must have been a little hard to film. Did they get you
It was
laughing on there? Or not try
Did they
to?
what?
Did they get you laughing on the show? Like on that
No,
film?
no, no.
They tried
I pulled it together long enough to film it, but boy, she was just. I mean, she was always funny, but that was one of the funniest things she ever did.
That was awesome. I love to check it out mostly. I think a lot of us,
check it out.
a lot of
Check it
us
out.
know
It's
that
good.
one. So, but I was.
Now you're making me want. You're making me want to go back and watch them because I've forgotten most of them. You know, and I should go watch them again because they were really funny
You
shows.
should. You definitely should because look, the whole cast grew up, and yourself as well. But you guys can still stay in touch, and maybe I think they just did a Sunny with a Chance reunion. Well, like on Zoom. They had one, I think that just happened or something like that with like everyone except for Brandon, I believe.
I must have missed it.
Well, it's on Tiffany and Demi Lovato's Instagram or their Facebook,
Oh, great.
so you can take a look and see. But maybe if you reach out to like Tiffany or Allison or Doug or Brandon, they know you. So maybe they can get you involved with something like that next time too, where you can be on screen with them. And you can do a catch up where how they're doing and everything.
I'd love to see them again. They're just great.
I think that their emotions on the show, because I love Disney Channel and I used to watch it all the time when I was a little kid. And I don't watch it now because I don't like what they have on TV now. Like, it's not what I used to grow up watching, which is, because I grew up with like different shows for what they're pushing now. And I feel like I started pulling away from it a little bit maybe after Jessie. But with Sunny with a Chance, and then it came so random, I think that's just where I was like, okay, I love this show. And when Sunny with a Chance was gone, I was like so upset. I was like, this can't happen.
I thought it was such a good show. I mean, I watched it and it made me laugh. I don't think it was only for kids. I think grown-ups enjoyed it too.
I think I had my father Doc G watch it with me. He watched every Disney Channel show with me on TV.
Yeah.
Or Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Anything I had on TV, he would watch. Even the Looney Tunes. Like anything. So I think it was just more of all of us were growing up, my generation and everything. And Disney Channel was also trying to change over. And I think Demi was going to rehab as well. Maybe why.
Yeah.
Which is why they, pulled the plug on that and everything. But I'm still so happy that you're an actor besides that. And you did so much more for your resume and your realm because I would be so scared if you just did something with a chance and you were done. I'm thankful that you didn't. Because it was a fun show. I've been lucky, yeah. It was such a fun show, to be a part of and everything. So
I do miss it, though. It was a highlight for me because it was such a happy place to go to work,
It's a job you liked.
Say again?
Oh, I said it's a job you liked.
Love it. I love it. Every set has a different kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
And we had so many giggles and so much stupidity and so much fun. We just like to make each other crack up. It was so much fun.
And I love that. I think that's the best attitude for a show.
Yep.
And you know what? With all the other shows that you've done now and what you're portraying, you're still bringing Marshall with you, no matter what. He'll always live in you.
Okay.
You don't even know. Michael, he might be right here, right now with the interview.
Maybe. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it.
Oh, no.
I think that's fun.
Well, I mean, that was a character that you portrayed, so never let Marshall Pike die. Always live like Marshall Pike. Like, have him in you no matter
got
what.
it. Yeah.
That's what I meant. So when I meant that he was here in the interview, he's you. You're doing the interview.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So
remember the one where they had the GPS and it was Allison's character on the GPS. They got me to drive in the wrong direction because they wanted me to stay away.
Yes, I remember that.
I think they were having a prom.
I think it was a prom in the studio room or something like that. Yeah, I remember that because they had to keep you away because you weren't supposed to be a part of it or hear about it. I remember that.
That's right.
I totally remember that. Well, I meant to ask you a lot too, from a lot of people that were tuning in and wanted to know about the show. When they had to do school on the show, was that was just for like the show, right? But outside the show, were they still doing school, or was that just for the show?
Well, when kids are working professionally, they have a tutor on set.
Okay.
And so they're required to spend a certain amount of the day in school. And so the union maps all this out. So they can't work too many hours in rehearsal. They have to release them for school time, and they have to get a certain number of school hours in. But they have their teacher come right to the set.
Okay, so it was real then, even though it was on the show, or it was like something. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
based off of it.
Yeah, it was yeah, it was real. It was real, and then they sort of portrayed it on the show as as they did a version of that, because that's how it really is in real life. The kids have to have school.
Okay, so they were kind of like showing us exactly what an actor's life would be.
Exactly right.
When you were getting into acting, not professionally yet, no, just doing yourself, did you do school in acting on the side as well? Or did you
I wasn't employed, so I was. Oh wait, I might have misunderstood your question. Did I study and take classes? Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when you were getting more into like acting, and maybe you booked a role, and I know you said you weren't doing it until later afterwards.
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't work, so I didn't have to get a tutor because I was still just in regular school and wishing to get acting work.
Oh, okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with that too, because it's probably easier doing it where you finish school all on your own and then getting to acting, because I feel like that could be just a whirlwind where grades can drop if you just mess up and then you lose everything. Oh, that's stressful.
Well, I think it's hard on kids. It's a lot because they're working full time and doing school full time at the same time. It's hard. And those kids on that show were tired. I mean, it was, and then Demi would go off and do concerts on the weekend. She was exhausted. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot for kids to live that life. It looks like, I think a lot of people watch that and think they would like to do the same thing, but it's very demanding.
I guess it also, like you said, it looks very easy. I think it's also where it's pulling a lot of people, my age or anyone that wants to be a part of a show, to not see that there's a lot of hard work you have to put in the show for it to look like that. Too, right? Because if you want to talk about it, like you guys had to get up what time to do like some sets changes and stuff like that.
Well, every episode took a week. And we would rehearse it, and then the writers would go make it better, and then we would rehearse the new. But they changed the script all week long, so you're constantly learning lines. Okay. And then, of course, costume fittings, because there were those sketches, and they had to be dressed as a pencil or whatever. And at the same time, they're logging school hours, and they were long days. They were really long days. And of course, on Fridays we'd film, so they'd come in like a regular work day, and then it would go all the way till 9-10 at night.
So the hours were very dragging too.
Sure, especially if you had school to that.
But thankfully you didn't have to, so was it more stressful for you to get to learn your lines and stuff? Like, did anything change for you as well as the cast?
No, it was easier for me because I didn't have to do school, and I didn't have as many lines, so it was easier.
And it was probably more fun, so you got to do a lot of costume changes or find out what your character's wearing. Because you got to wear a lot of nice outfits in that show.
I loved it. They always put me in some really crazy bright shirt and bright tie. I loved it.
Yes. I think, did you wear something yellow? Maybe?
I'm sure I did. They love to put me in red, yellow, like the brightest shirts that nobody else would wear.
Yeah, because you would make the screen pop. We would notice you before we would notice them.
They were really bright.
Very, very smart. So when you wanted to get from acting and everything that you were doing, did you ever feel like, besides being an actor, that there was something else you wanted to portray?
No, not really. I certainly didn't think I'd make a living at this because so few people do, but it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do.
I'm so glad you love it so much, though. And you're very successful now than you thought you were. And you have a very positive mind on you as well for that.
I just love my job. I love it. I love it. It's like you and I were talking beforehand, and you were talking about how much you love talking to people and how what you do now, you might do this with the rest of your life because you love it so much.
Of course.
And it's so great to find something like that. I think to find the thing that you love doing and pursue it because, this is what I do. I don't know if I'd be good at anything else.
Well, I'm
You know?
sure that's not true. I'm definitely sure there's other things. Because, well, we could say, for instance, when you were younger, before you wanted to get into acting, what did you want to be when you grew up? Now, everybody loves that question.
A pirate.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with
But
that.
that job wasn't available.
You could
There were
be
no
pirate.
openings in it.
You could be a pirate character.
That's true. That's true. I could just bring pirating back. That would be good.
Yeah, you could do that. Or if The Wiggles is still a show, you can be that captain guy. I forget his name.
True.
I forget that guy's name. Was it like, it's not Captain Hook, it's Captain something else.
I didn't watch that show.
I mean,
You forget I'm old. So, like I didn't watch those kids shows.
well, The Wiggles was, I believe, like way before Sunny with a Chance. It was like on Playhouse Disney.
I was already grown up.
I am too, and I watched it. I watched all the childish shows, I guess you could say. But no, there's definitely maybe down the road, especially after COVID, you can find a role where you could be a pirate, so you can live your.
I hope so. That would be a nice change from being a lawyer. That'd be like to be a pirate. That'd be pretty cool.
And you can.
But I'd want to be like somebody who's like not that good at being a pirate. I think that would be the most fun.
I love that. I already see it, like where you're just supposed to do something right and you do it the opposite way or something. That's
yeah. Or like trying to be scary and not scary.
Yeah. Like
that'd be fun.
or something. Yeah. No, that's exciting. And that's very fun to watch. I feel like when you're also an actor, and I want to ask you this personally as well, Michael, when you're an actor and you have your lines and you have your script, what is the number one where you like advice you would give to yourself or you would give anyone where they can take take it seriously, like to take it seriously and have fun?
Can you help me with your question? I don't think I understood.
Okay.
Give it to me again.
Yeah, no problem. So what would you basically say to, you could say it to yourself, it's like you talk to yourself like we all do, or you can say it to like your fans, views that are out there, and they want to get into acting just like you did. What is one profession and one advice that you would give to yourself when they're on stage and they have to stay professional, but also have fun?
Oh, I have so many answers to your question. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I would tell you this. This may sound terrible. I would not advise people to go into acting.
Okay.
It's such a difficult profession. It's fun when you get to work, but you hardly ever get to work. So unless you can love it, whether or not you're successful, it's the wrong profession for you. It's just again, we only see the actors who are successful. We don't see most of the actors who are not, and it's a hard profession where most people don't make a living. So not to be discouraging, but you got to, if you want to do it professionally, you have to really love it enough to risk failure. Isn't that terrible? But it's true.
Yeah, no. I mean, we would love to hear the truth versus, a lie or something where you just try to let somebody get their hopes and dreams up and then they have a situation where it's hard for them to get into the industry what you did. So we always
sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, Michael. Continue.
I'm the exception, you know what I mean? Like the people who are successful are the exception rather than the rule. And I think a lot of people think it looks easy, and it's pretty hard. Acting's pretty hard in its way. It's hard to get good at it, and it's hard to get employed. But I still love it. I mean, of course, I love what I do, but I think that's because it's my calling, as you would say. But I think that if people love acting, they don't have to do it as a profession. You could do community theater. You could do school plays. That's what I did. I love all of that. It's so much fun to do. You know, if you want to just do it for the fun, as opposed to trying to be in the business, that's the part that's hard.
As opposed to getting paid.
Yeah.
I understand that completely. I feel like that's a little hard just to gain the paycheck, because say that you get a job, but it's not all what it's supposed to be, or it changes or anything like that, and then it's not the pay that it's supposed to be. I mean, I don't know if that situation ever happened to you.
And they all end. They all end. Like you were talking about, Sunday with a Chance ends. You know, what's next? What's next? What's next? I've been lucky enough to keep getting the next job, but that's this is a profession where where your jobs end constantly.
Yeah. Or you'd ever know when, right? Or you would know after the last episode or something. But then you don't want it to end. Like you want it to get rebooted for another season or something, but you don't know.
Of course. Of course.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about how your acting is? Like, what exactly, if you can explain it for someone that's also wanting to know a little more about the industry, how do auditions work, or what do you deal with auditions? Like the real realm.
So, the what?
Oh, like the real realm of like an audition.
You want the real truth? Okay.
Of course, yes.
So I have an agent. My agent is the one who looks for auditions for me.
Okay.
And the casting directors are the ones who are looking for actors. So they put out a list every day that only agents can see of what roles they're trying to cast. And so my agent will look at that and see if there's anything that I seem right for. And then she's got to go and pitch me to the casting director and say, how about seeing Michael Kostroff for this? And then they go, we don't know, maybe we will. And she has to sort of sell me. And if they decide to see me, then I get an audition. And they'll send me usually just a couple of pages of the script. I don't get the whole script. Then I've got to rehearse, figure it out, learn the lines, decide what's happening in the scene. And I go into audition. And there are probably going to be 20 or 30 actors that they see for each part, maybe more. Sometimes it's a lot more. And, we go in one at a time. Now, of course, it's going to be more on videotape because of COVID, but on video. But we either videotape ourselves and send it in, or we go to an office and we do the scene. And if they like what we've done, they'll invite us back to do the same thing for the producers.
Okay.
And then then they decide who they want. That's the process. But without an agent, I would have no auditions because I wouldn't know about them. It's sort of the secret information that only goes to agents.
That goes right to agents. Wow. See, I wouldn't have even known that. Well, how exactly did you get an agent? Did that come with when you were looking for auditions, or is that something you had to get before you were in acting?
It's one of the hardest things is to get an agent.
I was
that. An actor and trying to get one for many, many years, and it's hard to get them because there are always too many actors, and they all want agents. So the agents are trying to pick the actors who they think will make them money. This is where like I said, the business part is not as fun as the acting part.
No, I understand.
They were going to sign up actors who they think are going to make them money.
Okay.
So actors typically will send in their information or email them and hope to get an appointment with an agent, and that's hard to do because they mostly are not looking for anyone. So it's one of the hardest parts of our business is getting somebody to represent you.
Because that also helps you portray yourself, right? To build your role and everything because of them.
Sure.
Now, does it get ever? I guess it seems very overwhelming for the agent too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you're lucky if you get that appointment or that minute to talk with them or whatever it is that they give you. It's like their gold time. You have that prime time. That's it. That's all you get.
You're exactly right. Exactly.
Now, with the audition process that you've been doing, or say when you were first getting into for auditions, did you ever feel I know we said discouraged, or we would go into a role and you wouldn't get it? I know we dealt with rejection and everything, or you saw other people around that you thought were better than you? Oh,
always. Every time. Always. Here's a funny thing that most people don't know about actors.
Okay.
Most actors don't think a lot of ourselves. Most of us think everybody else is better. I'm one of those actors.
Oh,
so when I go to an audition, I look around at the other actors. I'm like, he's great. And most actors are like that. Most actors think everybody else is better. And it's fine. It's just I think we tend to be more humble than people know. But yeah, I very often would pick somebody else in my mind for the part, and most of the time you don't get the job. I mean, it's very rare when they actually pick you because they have so many actors to choose from. So that's why, for example, when my agent calls and says, "You got Sonny with a chance," I'm like, I was so excited. That's an exciting day.
Yes.
You
good.
know?
Yeah. And when you actually, because you said earlier when you were talking about your audition process, they give you a script and you have to put it together on what it's based out of or what it's about. Like, what did you mean by that exactly?
Well, you have to do your work on your own because they don't really help you with it. They just give you the couple of pages of the script.
Okay.
And remember, this is before the TV show's on the air, so nobody knows what this TV show is.
Yes.
So you have to look at it and go, oh, I see Marshall is this kind of guy, and I think he's this. I think this is what's going on in the scene, and I think this is how he would go about doing what he does. And I had to present my version of Marshall to them.
Okay, so you gave yourself your own attitude.
Correct.
Like you
Correct.
made yourself what you wanted to be, what you wanted your character to be, precisely.
Right.
And they went with that. That's awesome.
That's
didn't.
right.
So is that
That's
with a lot of actors, or does that depend on like exactly like what their their skit processes, like the scenes, or is that all different?
Well, that's how auditioning professionally usually is. Is that
Okay.
you don't get a lot of direction. You just get the material. You get the printed pages, and you have to sort of fill in the blanks and figure it out and rehearse, and and basically figure out how you would like to play the part, the way that you'd like to do it. And if they like that, then that's how they pick.
So in theater, it's called a callback. If you get something from an audition, is it considered a callback, or is it another?
It's called a callback. Yeah.
It is a callback. Okay, so it's the same thing as theater. So that's another
you
reason
get a
why
second,
you love it.
Second audition. Yeah.
That's another reason why you probably love it, because it's like a throwback to theater. Callback here, callback there. So
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's honestly, it's so exciting from everything you've been on. I mean, I even remember you were on King of Queens. You got to work with Kevin James.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
He's such a funny comedian.
Oh, so
So, I mean,
He
exactly
was
like,
another one. He was another one who was hard not to laugh with because he's so funny.
well, with the characters and some that you get to portray with the, with the actor that Kevin James, is there any way, I guess, like off air versus on TV that you can't not be, like, you can't be serious? I mean, he's a comedian, so isn't it hard when you're focusing on your lines or anything with him? Was he doing anything that made you laugh? Or is he very...
Oh, no. He's very professional, and it's interesting. People get...
Really?
It's still a job. It's still a job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we still have to try to make the show as good as it can be, and comedy can be a very serious business. We've got to figure out how to make it the funniest version that it can be.
Wait,
and
serious?
so we rehearsed. We rehearse just like you rehearse a play, and except like I said, the difference is that they'll rewrite the show every day until we film it.
But so that was where a lot of the shows that you've done, did that then? Or you're saying in the acting industry, a lot of the shows before they're on TV are rewritten before, like the episodes?
No, what I'm talking about is specifically sitcoms like Sunny with a Chance, where there's a live audience.
Okay, the middle?
Those particular shows, they rehearse all week like a play.
Okay, got you. Because of the live audience?
Yes, they only have one opportunity to film it, so they work all week to make it the best it can be.
So when you were getting into theater before you started doing like acting professionally, did that feel different when you had to perform in front of a live audience, or did it feel the same energy you gave?
No, it's very similar.
Really?
I think that's why I like doing Sunny with a Chance, because it was the most like theater.
Well, with a lot of the other shows, like, was the middle kind of like that? Because I know I think they have a live audience too.
No,
Oh, they
no,
don't?
the middle doesn't. No, most of the stuff that I've seen that I've been on does not have a live audience.
Okay.
And these days, they don't have a lot of shows with live audiences. Most of the comedies are like The Office, where they go in and they film it just like any other TV show.
Yeah, no, I understand with The Office and everything, because that's more of like, well, Steve Carell was on that show, but it's more of like the humor is in the show versus like people laughing. But I'm not going to lie.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if I'm the only person, but when I watch shows with studio audience, just a little bit I get annoyed because the laughing. Just a little bit. I don't know if it's anyone else or just me. It might be a pet peeve of mine, but sometimes the laughing is just insanely maybe
Is
obnoxious.
it because is it because it's too much?
Maybe. I don't know. I think
Okay.
it's maybe the way that it's sometimes also recorded and they play it on TV too. It's not all the time. It's like certain shows where it's just like, oh God, I hate this.
I think there's some shows where they use fake laughs. They boost it up or yeah, those I hate.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you can definitely tell from a real audience versus maybe a fake one. But I think
Of course you can.
what Sunny with a Chance was live, but didn't they also push buttons too on some of the episodes? Like where there was like laughter or something? Or was that?
I don't think so. I think that was all real laughter.
Okay.
I'm trying to get Link to come up and visit.
Oh, you're kidding?
This is Link.
Hi! Oh my gosh. Is it a he?
That's a he.
Okay, I heard he meowed. Hi, Link.
Yes.
Oh my
He likes to
goodness.
talk a lot.
That's what Pepper does too. My cat Pepper, she's a black short domestic cat. She's all black
cute.
with like yellow eyes, and they turn green when she's mean, like the Grinch.
I like black cats. They're cool.
Yeah, oh, me too. She's my Halloween cat, I guess I could say.
Perfect.
Perfect for fall.
Does she get to dress up?
She doesn't like to, but I definitely try. I think I had her as a bat one year, something like that. So definitely different. But I love that I love Link. He's so adorable. No,
Link is great. He's the kind of cat who likes to always like hang out and cuddle. He's not like one of these aloof cats that you have to convince. He always wants to do this.
Yep. He just always wants attention too, right?
Yes, always. And if I don't give it to him, he talks.
That's what Pepper does. Yeah.
He'll just go, meh, meh, meh.
That's adorable. I'm so glad that you got a cat. Like I said, they're the
I'm
best
glad
thing.
got to meet him.
Yes, I'm glad to meet him as well. I think it's really exciting what you have been doing and all the acting that you've portrayed and more to come. And I didn't even know,
Thank you.
you live in New York. Are you from New York, born and raised?
I'm born and raised in New York, yeah.
So did you ever live in LA, like for any of the shows that you've done?
I did. I lived in LA for about 20 years. And when I was doing Sunny with a Chance, I was in LA.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
that show looks like it was based out of it because of the palm trees and stuff.
Right. But then I really got homesick and I had to move back. So I've been back in New York for about 10 years.
Okay. Well, yeah, so it's really exciting to know that you live in New York. I definitely, shortly after COVID, we will have you in the studio sometime. And
Perfection.
maybe we can even have some people call in and stuff for yourself, so you're in studio and you can take callers and you can be very professional and maybe
I love it.
And maybe you can also do, one character one day where you're a radio show person. That would be something fun to play.
That'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to have a radio show. I think that's great that you'd have that.
Yeah, just reach out, see what else you want to play. I mean, there's probably so many more roles that you dream of besides a pirate, that you think of and you're like, or when you're watching TV, anything you watch, you're like, that would be nice to play. I mean, I'm sure not a lawyer. You probably see that and you're like, ugh, not going to do that again.
Well, like the lawyer roles pay my bills and I'm really grateful for them and it's really fun. I just play a lot of lawyers, but I like the ones that are weird, that are just like not, just like like I told you, the one where I was like this, tattooed guy. I like the ones that are just so unusual that I have to, that's where the hard work comes in because it's nothing like me.
It's something different to play, but it's also something nice to see yourself as. Like you would never probably seen yourself as that with like drinking or tattoos or anything.
Never.
And you're like, oh wow, that was me. I don't remember that. When did that happen? That kind of state of mind. But no, I think it's just depending on everything that you have done and with all the acting and everything. You're such an entertainer, Michael. I also feel like you should have been doing a little bit of comedy too. When I was hitting at that, I was trying to say that you're funny. So you should look into comedy as well. Not saying you have to now, but something to fall back on. Do you think you would be a great comedian?
To be a stand-up comic? Never. I like comedic acting. Like Sunny with a Chance, that was my jam. I love that.
Because was it a little easier when your script was written for you versus you trying to come up with something? I got you.
100%. 100%.
Because you were like, I have to come up with my own lines for this show.
Well, also, like, you get to work with other people who, like, I loved working with Tiffany. Was so so funny. And
Tiffany Thornton, yeah.
we would always coach each other a little bit because she's a very, very smart comic actor. And I would say, oh, how do you think I should do this to make it funny? And we'd think, and we would do this with each other all the time. So it's great to have the partnership.
No, that was really nice. She's married now, and she has 2 kids. 3 kids, actually. So, see, everybody grew up.
Hard to imagine.
Yeah. I don't think the only one that's not married is probably Doug or Brandon.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess they were the youngest ones. Well, no, Allison was probably the youngest.
Yeah, Allison, yeah,
Think.
I think she was, because she was Zora. She was the little spunky one, little pop rock one. Yeah, she was such. Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna binge Sunny with a Chance after this interview. Thanks.
I might do it. I might do it too. I missed that show. You're making me nostalgic.
I mean, honestly, just for everybody that's tuning out there and for yourself, Sunny with a Chance was such a funny show to the point where if you had any worries or any negative that was going on in your life, depression, it kind of just faded away when you were watching it because you would just laugh constantly at the show, especially with Whale Boy. Do you remember that? Dolphin Boy?
Oh, yeah. Dolphin Boy, I remember. Right.
If he gets nervous, better to his too. It's not on nervous when he's just it's Dolphin Boy.
I had forgotten about all these things. You're reminding me of all these things that I forgot about. That was really funny.
That was a good skit. So I wanted to ask, before we get ready to start closing the show shortly, out of all the skits that was on Sunny with a Chance, and I know you said that you was there ever any that you got to help write, on the show?
Oh no.
Were you allowed to? No.
No, no, that was not my job. They have the best writers in the business writing for that show.
Did you give any advice about one or anything? This one.
Did I get what?
Did you give advice about any of them? This would be more funny if it was and they took your.
I don't think so.
Oh come on, that would have been.
I don't think so. No, well, because the scripts were so funny. I mean, they were so funny. I don't think I ever had any suggestions that I remember because they were just so funny.
I mean,
I'm remembering them as we're talking. They keep coming back to me.
Me too.
I had my one.
I have the chicken one in my head right now.
Oh, I love the chicken one. I
Where
love the chicken one. And I love when I had my one man show. Mm-hmm. That was really funny.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's such a good show.
So stupid.
Oh my gosh! Such a great show. Wow. Gonna make me emotional here because I really miss that show.
Well, I really appreciate you have me on as your guest, and it's fun chatting and reminiscing about this stuff.
No, it is, and I'm just thankful that you gave me the time. With everything going on, don't know how busy you are with your auditions or anything going on. So
nothing's happening.
We're
all sitting around
with Link, right?
Yeah, me and Link are just sitting around.
Well, again, I really appreciate it, Michael. Did you
My
want to
pleasure.
give out any of your social media where people can find you and all your amazing shows that you run?
See, this is the thing that old people always forget. I'm glad you reminded me.
I got you. No worries.
Because I'm really bad at this. My Twitter is @TheRealKostroff.
Okay.
And my last name is KOSTROFF. I don't know if you'll put it up somewhere. I should know these things. I'm really bad at it. I think my Instagram is just Michael _Kostroff.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yep.
it.
I think that. That's the one I tagged you in. I believe that's you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll say it's
Okay.
You. Oh, and your Facebook page? Was it just Michael Kostroff?
It's just Michael Kostroff. Yeah. Yeah.
No problem. And before you go, Michael, can I get a radio promo tag from you?
What? Yeah. What do I say?
So you're gonna say your name. You can mention a character and show you were in, and then you're gonna say you're listening to the DJ DANI show.
Okay.
And then the second one, because you'll be doing 2, you're gonna say you're listening to Hamilton Radio, which is the station you're on right now.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Whenever you are ready.
Hi, I'm Michael Kostroff. I was Marshall Pike on Sunny with a Chance, and you're listening to the DJ DANI show. Ready for the second one?
Second one. Yep.
Hi, I'm Michael Kostroff. I played Marshall Pike on Sunny with a Chance, and you're listening to Hamilton Radio.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michael. Before you go, I want to just make sure Doc G, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Oh, boy.
Oh, wait, he's coming to the mic.
Michael,
Uh-oh.
Michael, it's,
Interview number 2.
no, I wouldn't do that to you.
Do you want-
We have another show coming up anyway. My beautiful wife, Sandy, wants to come say hi. She is a children's book author.
Come over here.
I have a second, yes.
Wait, you gotta put
self-published
this
children's book.
And
So you can hear him. He can't hear you. You gotta put this on
Huh.
so you can hear him.
Oh, all right.
I can hear her.
Just yeah.
Okay.
Michael,
Hi, Sandy. Hi.
Oh.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So you're an author.
Yeah, well, self-published children's book, and I have a second one coming out.
Yeah.
My first one's about a cat, and the second one's about a boy and his dog.
Great.
Yeah, we just had a little bit of delay. We're trying to get it finished. I got to talk to the illustrator.
So it's a lot of work doing all that.
Yeah,
He gave you a lot of encouragement with his interview.
yeah.
we heard it. It was really good. Did a good job.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. I had so many questions to ask you, but no time. So,
Well, he's gonna come back in the studio.
no, I know. That's why I'm going to wait for you to come in back in the studio. And we'll ask you
We'll
then.
have him in the studio.
But what a pleasure. Have a great whatever time off. And if you need us, we're here for promotions or whatever you need.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. It was a pleasure being a guest.
Thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate it. And stay in touch with me, please. And I will keep you updated with things that go on.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, everyone.